Tobago, welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ICNTT, it's always a pleasure to be in your company every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 to 9, where we bring you something relevant in sport that's happening in Trinidad and Tobago. Tonight we're going to be talking rugby, but we're going to have a different twist to it. We're going to be talking to some members of the School of Rugby organization. But before I introduce my guests, let's like to introduce my co-host. It's a face that you have seen regularly on ACTN. Maria, it's a pleasure. Welcome.
Thank you.
And as I said, we're talking School of Rugby, and I guess you're going to be wondering what is School of Rugby. Let me introduce my guests for tonight. We have Kazim Sichan. Now, Kazim is the head coach and also the founder of this organization.
Yes.
Welcome to ACTN.
Thanks, sir.
And we have Kelvis Figaro.
Yeah.
He's one of the coaches. Gentlemen, again, welcome. The School of Rugby, the first thought comes to mind, it's a school teaching rugby.
Yeah.
Right? Well, let's get into the whole history. How did the whole idea come about? How long it has been in existence? And what is the School of Rugby really all about?
All right, so I started a camp in the club that I was in before.
Wow,
it would have been Rugby 101.
Right.
And I just wanted to do more. But the limitation of the club and having to answer and anything that I wanted to do, it would have been a little difficult. Sometimes I want to try something, you know, and I wasn't able to do it. Or I don't think I would be able to do it, you know, so I wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I decided to start School of Rugby. I would have been private, not with any club. We started in 2016, School of Rugby. And after that, is what it is today.
But where are you all actually based? Or you all?
We are not based in any one location.
Yeah.
So we go to different schools, the home, or anything like that. Camps in different locations and things like that.
Okay. So you all have been throughout Trinidad and Tobago?
Mostly Port of Spain. Just Port of Spain for now.
No, you mentioned you're going to school, so that means this program has to be endorsed both by the Rugby Union and also the ministry?
Just the Trinidad and Tobago Rugby Football Union.
Right, so that gives you all access to go into schools?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. How many communities would you say have benefited so far from this project?
I would say just the Port of Spain area for now, because we are now developing the coaches now coming on board. Before it was just me as the coach, as the head coach, so now we have coaches certified by World Rugby, so that we training, so that we could expand into other areas.
Okay, no, I know we have some coaches that we'll speak to later on. Maria, I don't know if you want to jump in here.
Well, the programs that you offer for schools, can you describe a little bit about how that works?
All right, so at preschools, we focus more on the physical literacy. So there'll be more the movement skills, just the fundamental skills, you know, kicking, throwing, running, balancing, things like that. At the primary school, we now get into some rugby basics, you know, like passing, the direction of passing and things like that. And then when we move up to secondary school or the older kids, we would get more rugby specific. As for now, we just do tag, and we didn't get into contact as yet. You know, so we just introduce the sport, get it out there.
So you said preschool. That's pretty young. So what are the youngest little rugby players that you have at School of Rugby?
The youngest that we had was 2 years. Yeah, and well, the preschool up to 5 years.
Okay,
yeah.
And what is the response then for children who are so young playing rugby? You mentioned that it's focused on physical literacy, but are you well received by parents when they hear that their child wants to play rugby?
At first, no, because people think rugby, broken bones, injuries, and just danger. But really, the sport have so much more to offer. Even the safety in the sport itself is very, very important. That's the #1 thing. You know, so at first it does be a little hard, but when parents come, sometimes they see the session or just hear about it, they start softening up to it and accepting it a little easier.
What role do the values of rugby play in when you're giving these sessions at schools?
Well, it helped the children to enjoy themselves, have the confidence to do physical activity, because sometimes the child might think it's not able to do it, you know. So they get into doing things, running around, passing, catching, and learning a sport. You know, have an idea of the sport at a young age.
What was really the objective of this program? Was it that you saw the need to, because in sports in Trinidad and Tobago, you find that we always start training or get involved in sports 10, 11, 12. But did you see a need to start at an earlier age to get the kids, you know, involved in rugby from a tender age, instead of waiting till they are 9, 10, 11, 12 to get them to go into a club? All
right, so initially it was just to expand the sport, because normally you only know of the sport, just like I say, at secondary school age. I only knew of the sport when I went into Form 1. But because of all the benefits and everything else, I continued playing and enjoyed the sport. So it was just to expand the sport to younger ages so that you're a little more aware of it. And while doing that, the TTOC had different programs with long-term athlete development, physical literacy, teaching the different way to implement it at a younger age. So I see where rugby, a sport where you kick, you pass, you run, you throw, catch, almost all different things for any sport, you can start at a younger age. So then this is where I decided to go into the preschoolers, the primary schools, and just start younger.
What sort of support you get from the union, the football rugby union?
The support that I get from the rugby union is the okay. Yeah, just the endorsement. That's all that I need. For now, once recognition, that's all that I need. Everything else, school of rugby can get it done.
Everything has a cost, right? How do you all fund yourself in the sense of, because I'm sure that, do the coaches work for free?
No.
Right, so you have to get money to pay them.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have equipment.
Yeah.
Right? How do you manage to survive, and especially in this time when things are difficult?
Yeah.
How do you find the finance, or how is the program funded?
The program is funded through sales of merchandise, so like balls, jerseys. We would have kicking tees coming in, mouth guards, things that we need for the sport itself. And then for the different areas, according to the age group or the event that we're doing, we charge accordingly.
So, well, from what I'm seeing there, it's a form of business you're starting here, because I guess that sooner or later, the rugby teams in the juniors and the seniors, they could start coming to you all now to buy equipment.
Yeah.
Right. So is that an idea that you all have in mind?
That is the idea, to be the #1 place to come for rugby, for the rugby equipment, supplies, anything like that. Because sometimes it might run out at the stores that we have, because we know that rugby is not the #1 sport for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so it would come to us and we would have it. We should have it.
Let me switch to Mr. Figaro, who is one of the coaches. Tell me a bit about yourself, how you got involved in the sport of rugby before we talk about your coaching career.
Well, I started rugby probably about 6 years now, and I fell in love with the sport because of my family, basically. My two brothers play rugby, and because of that I was introduced into the sport, and since then I just went on with my club, Royal Rugby Football Club. Still playing right now. It's just something that it blossomed as soon as I started playing the sport, and rugby means a lot to me. So school of rugby, when that opportunity came about, it was just a no-brainer.
So you're still actively involved in playing the sport?
Yeah.
But you also did your coaching course?
Yeah. Coaching for me came about through my love for the sport. I just wanted to spread my knowledge to the younger ones, like what my coaches did for me. So there's me giving back to the sport that I love so much. It's just helping younger athletes, because physical literacy is something very important. They don't have to be in a box with just rugby. It's helping an athlete in general, because we see the need for it. As a coach, I would see children that run awkwardly can't jump properly, keep balance. So it's a lot of stuff to it.
And that's where you come in now to make sure that you correct all this. Is it difficult working with children, 2, 3, 4, 5-year-old, teaching them rugby?
Well, me personally, I'm more focused on the more older children.
Okay.
The other coaches will focus on the younger. But it is a challenge because children focus. They lose focus very easily, and is a learning curve, and is something as a coach you learn to overcome. But so far, it's nothing that I can handle.
If I'm to ask you, as a young coach, what would you bring different to the table that maybe the older coaches that you all pass through, that you will do differently?
I just think our style will be a little different because of the coaches that passed before will be a more grit kind of old school style. But I think working with younger people now, you will see where they come from. You'll be around them more, so you will see where they're thinking, and just being able to understand them better and equipping them where you see necessary.
Well, the reason why I asked you that question is because in years gone by, when I first observed rugby, I would have never thought that I'll be sitting here with guys who play rugby with your size. Because we, in past, we tend to see these big, huge, you understand? So that shows you how the game has transformed, right? From this big, strong, you have to have, I guess, in certain departments, but basically you're seeing some very small frame people, right, in rugby.
To answer that, it was a challenge for me because of my size playing rugby, but that was me not being aware of the sport and knowing you don't have to be 280 pounds or like 220 to be playing rugby. It has different positions, different body types, and it's just how you apply yourself in the positions you're set to play.
Okay. Maria?
When you're delivering the program to the children, how does that aspect of the game help you to reach a greater base of children?
Most children would not be big, so they would think rugby it's probably something I can do, and I will get that a lot, but you would teach them and you show them that, hey, this is actually not the case, and you can do it, because one of the aims and one of the motto for Scoreboard Rugby is finding inner strength, and that's something that we push towards the younger ones.
Do you notice that children who may have been marginalized from sport find a home in school of rugby?
Yeah, because rugby is all different body types. Me playing rugby for the past 6 years is something I've seen people even smaller than me playing rugby in different positions, that they're not fazed by anything that comes their way.
Can you speak a little bit about the positions in rugby for the viewers that are not familiar?
The bigger type players, size and stature, I think they will more play the prop. That will be in the scrum. The positions are more numbered throughout 1 to 15, because it's 15 aside rugby, we mostly play in Trinidad and Tobago, aside from the sevens. The smaller type body frame players will more play through the back line, so you'll more see that through the centers, like in numbers from 11, 14, 13, even the scrum half, which majority times in most cases are the smallest players on the team, and that is the position I started playing rugby at. So by the time my coach saw me, he was like, hey, you're a scrum half. And that sometimes there's a shield from certain impacts in the game, because you wouldn't be in certain grits, on the pitch. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do, so you will get in there and you get dirty.
As in, where would you like to see this program reach?
Where I would like to reach in the short term would be the Caribbean, because my experience with just going right here in the Caribbean, it have islands that not aware that it have rugby, or don't have rugby at the islands. So just to introduce it, if you could work in a country that already have rugby, you could work in a country that don't have rugby. So it's ready to expand the sport, keep people playing rugby aware that it is here, and it's fun.
What do you think you will need to get it outside?
Time. Just time.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you have the coaches. Now, doing something like this project could be demanding. Because on any day you could get up in the morning, I could receive like 3 or 4 calls, one in library, one in Central, you know, somewhere, right? No, you don't want to refuse anyone because that's how you want to get the sport. But do you have sufficient coaches? Because this can go, suddenly you could get up in the morning and realize that 3 or 4 schools call you. Do you have enough coaches to attend to the needs of those who will call? And how often are you recruiting new coaches?
We have currently 8 coaches, excluding myself, certified by World Rugby, level 1, to go into different areas. Also, there are, I can't give a number, but a lot of coaches who not under School of Rugby, who are level 1 certified by World Rugby, who would be more than likely available because they did the program, they did the course, so just now to get them into it and expand.
Okay, we need to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Viewers, you are viewing Scoreboard here on ACTN, and we are talking to members of the School of Rugby. We'll be right back after the short break.
Now changing your question.
What I would say, Steve, is this.
But my first question was, and roll back that tape.
I made my debut for Crystal Palace against Tottenham Hotspur.
My responsibility was to get the ball and make things happen offensively.
You know, all the time we played together, I've always been the decoy.
Welcome to Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David, and I'm your host.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 and 9.
Welcome to the new season of Football 101. I am your host, Joshua D'Amatos.
Well, it's time for your weekly football news update. I love you, Messi.
Fortunately, kiss the badge, kiss the badge. Oh, what's that? Welcome to this edition of The Interview, and as you can see, I'm not alone on the set. I have Marcus, a Liverpool fan, and I have Shakir.
Welcome back. You're watching Scoreboard, and we are here learning about School of Rugby. We've just been talking about the number of coaches that School of Rugby has that work in different schools, different camps, teaching young children how to play the sport. Kazim, I find it really interesting that you spoke about how you were one coach that started School of Rugby. Now you have 8 coaches in addition to yourself with School of Rugby. One of the drives is to have qualified coaches and experienced coaches. How do you see School of Rugby contributing to this by giving opportunities for coaches?
So once the coaches come under School of Rugby and they start coaching, you would be coaching with a head coach, and you'd be assistant, and you develop your coaching skill, you develop your personality as a coach. And when you're capable to have a team on you, then we could expand with you going into a new school.
How many coaches do you normally send into a school?
Normally 2 coaches.
Okay. And are all of the schools different in regards to their needs, or is it mostly a similar template that you need to use?
Some places would be different because of the culture, sometimes the age, and just sometimes the kids personally. So
if coaches want to contact you and they want to become coaches for School of Rugby, how do they go about that?
You could message the Instagram page at school_of_rugby, or the Facebook page School of Rugby, or email us at schoolofrugby16@gmail.com. You could also contact 333-6017.
Okay, and is that the same information if schools want to bring you in to offer your program?
Yes, that's the same information.
Okay, and for booking your program by preschools, you said preschool, primary school, do you also do secondary schools?
Yes, we would be doing secondary school now. We are also in the home. So yes, we would be doing secondary schools.
Tell me a little bit about your home program.
The home program initially was just to do physical literacy, build the movement skills, because sometimes the kids might just be at just home, not doing any physical activity. So just to get them moving and getting into it. And as the numbers grow, we could start developing a team to probably enter touch tournaments and probably the schools league in the future.
Do you feel that you have a lot of competition with electronics?
No.
So most of the children that are involved are already athletic?
No, the children are not very athletic sometimes, but that's where the physical literacy come in. So we do different assessment, see where they're at, and then we would know how to adjust our program or the sessions.
Okay, what is a memorable story about one of the schools you coached in?
I think one of the most memorable times would be at Edu Garden, where I saw a 15-month-old child come into the session, and he was able to walk, he was able to talk that well, but he was interested picking up the ball and trying to do some of the activities.
Yeah, that's amazing, because when you look at how young you can start a sport, you often don't think that that is as early as you would start.
Yeah.
How about you?
Most memorable, I think just seeing the enjoyment on some of the kids when they first interact with a rugby ball. Most times you don't see it that much, and to see them so excited about the sport, it just brings a joy.
You know, I want to ask a question. Now, you all are young men, right? Yeah. And I guess you all have women coaches too. How do you all get that respect when you all go to coach to schools? Because you know, schools in particular are very particular with who they bring into the school, especially if you're dealing with female students and even male students. What sort of guidelines that you all have? Because I guess this falls directly on you being the founder. You have to make sure that your coaches are well respected, honest, trustworthy before you send them out to a school. Because once you send them to a school, it all come back to you, whatever they do. How do you maintain that you as well as your coaches are respected, and that you all are trusted enough? And are there supervision, people who supervise you all while you all deal with the kids? How does that operate?
So, first of all, we have standards for the coaches. The coaches would be trained. The coaches would have a level of understanding of the position. And then, yes, we would have supervision, sometimes a teacher, or just somebody, a member of the staff, to just come on and look on, because they might know a child a little more personal. Sometimes it might have a situation. Other than that, the coaches would be prepared, they would be trained to do what they have to do.
You understand why I asked that question? Yeah. Because there are incidents that happen already in sports where, you know, people go in and, you know, do all kind of craziness and things. And as young people, you know, we always have that stigma about young people, you know, thing. Now, when you started this program, from where you started to where you all are now, how advanced are you all? Where you all have reached? How advanced is the program? And have you said in 2016, right? In 2019, mid-2019, have you done what you have set out to do in the first part of this whole project?
So, like I said earlier on, it was just to expand rugby at a young age. So it was basically just going to primary schools instead of secondary school where we normally start. And it has changed. Now we're doing preschools and starting with physical literacy and not just rugby. So even if a child decide after the school rugby program at their school, they don't decide to play rugby, they're still equipped to play any other sport and not be starting from scratch.
There's an organization in somewhere up in Shagona side, the Waterloo Football Academy. They do a lot of work with preschool, and every year they host a preschool soccer festival. It's ready to bring all these little kids out for a day just to kick the ball around and, you know, play 2-on-2. And we said, is that a plan that eventually we'll see all, like the preschools having like a 1 day of activity outside? You know, we might not get the exact and correct game of rugby, but let's to bring them out of the school into an environment, you know, where they can be exposed to maybe, you know, something like a rugby game. But you know, it's not going to be a rugby game because they don't know all the different things. Is that on the agenda?
Yes, that is on the agenda. We thinking about it. We want to start with a tournament, a school rugby tournament at the secondary schools, and then we could move to the younger ones and go younger and younger until we reach to the preschoolers.
But there's also a secondary school rugby league, right?
Yes, there's a school.
But you all are coming with your own.
Yeah, we would have something separate, and we would like to enter the schools that we do into the competition as well.
Okay. What are some of the challenges you face over the period of time since this organization started?
The number one challenge is rugby is too dangerous. That's the number one challenge that we always face. But once as we explain it, get people into it, the parents, the teachers, explain to them properly, get them to see the session, it becomes easier and easier.
You mentioned a dangerous sport. So I guess somewhere in your contract or your guidelines or whatever it is, there is something there to protect children due to injuries and safeties, right? For the viewers who might be viewing and might come in contact with you, how do you convince them that their child or their children will be really protected from injuries, and if injuries do occur, who is liable? Because all these things people ask, especially when they're dealing in a sport that has this stigma of being a dangerous sport. Although, from what I gather from you, you have not reached the point yet where these children could get injured. But that's questions people want to ask. Right? So are there things in place to deal with those situations?
Right. So first of all,
and you also need to explain to the viewers what it is really about, so they wouldn't be confused, and you have to let them know that the child will not be at a point where they're going to be actually, you know, doing things to injure themselves.
Yeah. So first of all, we are not playing rugby, especially young age. We just do tag. Right? So we just use flags and belts. So the contact that we'd be having most of the time when we're playing a game would be pulling a flag. Right? It's a simple thing, just Velcro and just pull it off.
So it's not tackling.
So it's not tackling.
Right. Yeah. Right? So they'll have at least they'll have an idea now what, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just be pulling the flag. When we start contact, it would be at the older ages. So secondary school age and older. Okay. Right. Before we start, we normally have a registration form for the camps, so it would ask all the necessary questions, medical history,
right? Okay,
injuries, things like that, so that we know where to start, how to move with the child, and anything that we need to know, we would have it there.
What about girls and boys? Do you have an equal level of interest?
Yes, we have an equal level of interest because rugby is for both boys and girls. It's not for any one sport, so anybody can play.
And the boys and girls play together, or they play separately?
At the younger ages, yes, they would play together. At the camps and things like that, they would play together. But when we move up to playing games, then they would separate because they play at their level and their gender.
Okay, and then are the players assessed as to their skill level before they're assigned to teams, or is that something that's coming in the future?
So recently we just started assessing the players from the preschool straight up. We assessed everybody so that we know how to move and adjust. So that way, at the end of the term, we could give the parents like a report on the progress of the child.
And for talent identification, are you able to see at as young an age as preschool or even primary school that there are players that you think will have a bright future in rugby?
Yes, we didn't even make some recommendation to parents, but sometimes the child, something that tends to happen, the child might go through puberty and things might change, but that don't say the child won't be able to play the sport anymore. But yes, we have identified some children and we would like to see them continue playing the sport.
So then their pathway for rugby, if you say, let's say, playing on a national team is their goal or playing on a club is their goal, you've begun that journey earlier?
Yes, that is our long-term athlete development program.
So I guess you'll be keeping a database on the players' advancement. So as they grow, if they want to stay into the sports, you can guide them maybe to a team or look at their career as they go along.
Yeah.
Mr. Figaro, as a young coach, where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? What would you like to accomplish, you know?
On a personal level, currently with my paid club, Airlink Rugby Football Club, as the assistant coach for the under-18s, and more or less get more experience at my club. Identify my philosophy as a coach and building, and hopefully getting my own team and pushing forward to more success.
Would you say you're seeing more young people in the sport of rugby in the last 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, most definitely. I think,
why is that?
I think the integration from the teacher, if you going into schools and even school rugby, pushing the awareness of rugby. We've seen a lot of people asking the question, and that is what we want to get at. We want to start the dialogue. We'll talk about rugby, and with that now, we see the impact it's having in the community.
What would you like to see happen more in rugby? What would you like to see, you know, where would you like to see rugby go? In what direction?
I would love to see rugby as a more professional sport in Trinidad than just semi-professional, which would be very difficult where it is right now, but I think a lot of funding needs to be implemented into rugby because we've had a lot of issues with that in the past, lack of funding for various reasons and different leagues, but I think once that issue is sorted, I think I would love to see rugby as a more professional in Trinidad and Tobago. I
know we have to take a break and we will be bringing on another coach and you will have to leave us, but any closing comments you want to share with us?
To Trinidad and Tobago, I just want to urge you to contact us, look at school rugby, get into rugby, and just help us push this sport forward.
Well, let me say thank you very much and all the best to you. Viewers, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to be bringing one of the female coaches to tell us about her experience in the School of Rugby. We'll be right back after this short break.
You're now changing your question.
What I would say, Steve, is this.
But my first question was, roll back that tape.
I made my debut for Crystal Palace against Tottenham Hotspur.
My responsibility was to get the ball and make things happen offensively.
You know, all the time we played together, I've always been the decoy.
Welcome to Field of Dreams on ICNTT. My name is Steve David, and I'm your host.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 and 9.
Welcome to the new season of Football 101. I am your host, Joshua D'Amatos.
Well, it's time for your weekly football news update. I love you, Messi.
Unfortunately, kiss the badge, kiss the badge. Oh, what's that?
Welcome to this edition of the interview, and as you can see, I'm not alone on the set. I have Marcus, a Liverpool fan, and I have Shakir.
Welcome back to Scoreboard. We are here discussing School of Rugby. Amethyst Jahouir has just joined us. She is one of the coaches with School of Rugby, and she's going to help us continue the discussion about introducing rugby and physical literacy to youth. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Starting off, how did you get into School of Rugby?
Well, Cousin is basically my coach when I started, and he introduced me and asked me if I wanted to come. I went and got my certificate, and yeah.
Do you play rugby currently?
Yeah.
How do you feel playing and coaching balance off with each other? Is it beneficial to do both at the same time?
Yeah, because as a player, you would see your coach and you would learn from your coach, and you would be able to display it and do what you see.
Are there any instances where you as a coach came across a situation that you maybe realized you were on the other side as a player, and did that give you insight into the role of a coach and I guess being a coachable athlete?
Well, one of the challenge would be my size. I would basically look like a child, and my voice is very hard to talk loud and for everybody to pay attention, but it works out somehow.
So you have great athletes that pay attention then?
Yeah.
I guess the players who you're coaching, they will really like you, because you know we tend not to like coaches who shout plenty and talk hard. So I guess they will like you to be the coach because you talk very soft. Let me go back to Kazim. I understand that you have a clinic that is going on. Tell us a bit about that, and how can we get involved in it if the viewers want to get that. That's on a Saturday, right? Yeah. Yeah, so if anyone wants to get involved, how do they get involved?
Right, so we have a Saturday morning clinic going on for the month of June. It started on the 1st. It would be finishing on the 29th of June. It is 9 to 11 a.m. Saturday mornings.
The venue?
The venue is Mandela Park, right next to or closer to the play park, right? There's like a contact us at 333-6017 to get the registration form and moving on.
Is there a fee attached?
Yes, there is a fee attached. It is $180 for the entire month. Registration costs covered as in that.
And age? What age?
The age is 6 to 14.
You know, I listened to you all since the start of the interview. You all are into so much, doing so much with just 8 people. How do you all manage?
Good management and leadership skills, I guess.
Okay.
One of the things that interests me is when we think about rugby in Trinidad and Tobago, we know that we have club rugby, there's the schools union, there's the national program, but there isn't really any independent rugby. And what strikes me is that you've come up as an independent company that is promoting rugby. Do you think that there's more future for yourself, a School of Rugby, and maybe others who are interested in having independent teams?
Yes, there is a lot of future. You just need to see where something is lacking and just fill the gap, you know. And so what helped me is that since I joined the sport, I was just in love, and I say I have to make this a career, and I didn't know how, but I wanted to make it a career. And then I fall in love with coaching, because I just like to spread the sport, because I know what the benefits of the sport, and filling the gap was coaching, making it into a business.
You said earlier that you are basically still in Port of Spain. You haven't come down to the southern city as yet.
Yeah.
Is it that nobody has called you yet, or you haven't marketed yourself yet into the southern part of the country?
We just haven't marketed ourselves as yet.
Okay, and what was the kickback for that?
No,
the reason why I'm asking that is because if you look at rugby, with the exception of Rainbow and Exiles, that's the only 2 rugby clubs they have in South, and South is suffering for rugby. You know, so I think that I'm sure that there are schools who don't even know about you all, but will gravitate to a program like this.
The reason why we didn't expand as yet, because we want to make sure that the coaches are capable of handling a team.
Okay.
We have to make sure that they can do it, because this is not, we don't want to start in a school or a community and then something happen and change and then we just fall out. So we want to make sure that we are prepared to go in and to stay for a long time.
Have you all given yourself a time frame where you all will be able to service Trinidad and maybe Tobago?
No, we haven't given ourselves a time frame to service in Trinidad and Tobago, but I could see it happening within 3 years.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the things I've noticed is, as George just mentioned, marketing, is that you do a lot of marketing and promotions through social media. I have my jersey on today as well. I know you did some giveaways to do with merchandise. What other sorts of promotion do you do?
Just really the giveaways, get people involved, and looking attractive.
And what sort of impact does that have? So you'd say, if you had to fund something for a giveaway or the merchandise, right? Do you find that a giveaway of, I don't know, 10 jerseys, how many people do you think that you reach with that? What do you get out of doing those projects?
So a giveaway, people hear, okay, it's a giveaway, we want to get involved, and when you get involved, you automatically just start learning about it because you want to win. You basically want to win, so you learn about it, you get an idea, and then sometimes somebody might talk about something and you have that idea ready and you just spread it.
Do you find that people generally come one by one, or they come in groups, like a group of friends?
Normally one by one. When it comes to somebody just contacting the page or anything, normally one by one, something personal.
Okay.
When you all go to these schools, do the children who get involved, do they purchase the jerseys from you all, or what sort of equipment they have to, you can sell to the schools? It's according to the program. So some program you might have to buy the jersey. Some programs you will get it free, and some programs the jersey will just be available to like
purchase.
The clinic you're keeping, that 180 entails what?
That entails the jersey and coaching and then refreshments.
Right.
The camps, so like for example the summer camp that we have coming up, the jersey will just be available for purchase.
Tell us about that summer camp. What areas are you targeting?
The summer camp would be in Port of Spain area. We would be working in the savannah for the outdoor activities. Indoor, we would be at Malvern Sports Club on Woodford Street. It is 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. It is $200 per week. Same ages 6 to
5 days a week.
To 15.
5 days a week.
And 5 days a week.
So I guess that period of time, what are you looking to accomplish, right? For the summer camp, what you're going to be looking for, because, or is the program going to be different from the summer camp to what you actually do right now?
Yes, the program is a little different because we do other sports. So the summer camp is to get people involved. Okay. Because we already know that sometimes it's just a scare just to hear rugby. So we get people involved in the summer camp. We have different activities.
Okay. Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
As the kids, sometimes the parents, family members see that okay, it's enjoyable. School rugby doing something different, and then now we have rugby available, because at the camp we would do rugby as well with other sports like cricket, football, volleyball and other things. So, and rugby. So now when the camp is finished, we do focus on rugby. It's like the Saturday morning click, we focus on rugby. And then we get them commentate because now they start opening up to rugby now.
Do you all think that what you're doing is really appreciated by those who are involved in it?
Yes, because the parents, when we have a break, always asking when rugby happening again. The kids that we see that was a part of it always asking when we have rugby, are ready to go rugby. So yeah.
Amethyst, do you coach in both the schools and the camp programs?
Yeah.
Do you have a preferred age group?
No.
So you like coaching any age?
Yeah.
What's one of the things that has happened when you were coaching a group that made you feel confident as a coach?
When we're doing drills, at the start they would be shaky, but going into it, they getting it, they're doing it properly. I think that's an achievement.
Do you see athletes that remind you of yourself when you coach?
Yes, especially girls, small girls, yeah.
And what do you try to offer them that you would like to have or that you did have offered to you from your coaches?
They would see strength. They would see that you could be girly and play a tough sports. They would see that you could have your own opinions. They would be able to talk freely. Yes.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm sure that that really impacts a lot of girls, especially as you said that you can be girly and still play a tough sport.
Yeah.
Sometimes the impression is, okay, well, you just have to toughen up and be as tough as the sport. But it's not about how tough you are or how you appear. You can be yourself, you can be girly, you can be a princess, and you can still enjoy rugby.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier in the first part of the program that we are seeing so many small frame people playing the sport of rugby. Now, when I look at you there, as you said, you look like a child, right? What made you get into the sport of rugby? And I'm sure that getting into the sport of rugby, you must have been told on numerous occasions that it's a dangerous sport, but you still get involved in it. How come?
Because I wanted to prove people wrong. That, yeah, I'm small, but I could play a big body game. And yeah, I'm strong. I just did it because I want to be seen as a strong person, want to be respected, and I want to be listened. I want people to listen to me.
How has rugby changed your life?
I think I would be, well, I wouldn't be able to come out here first of all and talk, and I wouldn't be able to meet so much people. I would, if you had asked me 5 years ago how much friends I have, I would say none. I never used to talk to anybody. And I feel more happy, like, it's a happy sport, man.
What would you like to accomplish in the sport? How far do you intend to go?
I'd like to play for my country. Right now I'm training for 10-7, my national team. And I would like to make the sport known and play and represent Trinidad.
For the young ladies outside here who might have been in the same position that you was before you started getting rugby, if you have to offer them a message, what would you like to tell them?
I would say to don't let anybody say you can't do this because of your size or gender.
Because the position where you sit right now, you hold many hats, right? You're the founding member, you're a coach, you're currently a player, right? At the end of it all, what would you like to leave? What legacy would you like? I know you're still young, you have a lot of time still to play rugby, but what would you like to leave behind that people can hold on to and even do more than what you are doing right now? Because I'm sure that you're not a selfish person. You would like to set something up for those who will follow afterwards. But what would you like to leave that people can hold on to something positive and strong and advance, even if it has to come down to the school of rugby?
I would just like to leave something in place that just change the life of kids anyway, or any person, because rugby changed my life, you know, and my entire life from the day I went into secondary school has just been rugby. Rugby, rugby, rugby. And if it changed my life, I would like it to help change somebody else's life.
Would you say rugby is a sport for bullies?
No. It's a sport for gentlemen.
But it can change bullies, right?
Yeah.
That is what I was trying to get.
Yeah.
So those who like to fight in school, you could bring your anger out in a positive way on the rugby court.
Yeah.
Maureen,
Well, I want to commend you for coming. I was really moved by hearing your story and seeing the bravery that you gained from rugby, and knowing so many women in the sport of rugby, and for them to be able to identify with you. I think that your representation here is really, really important, and I thank you and I commend you for that. So thank you so much for joining us.
Before we close, tell us a bit, give us some more information, you know, how the schools can contact you, about the summer camp, the clinic, you know, so at least people have a better idea.
Right, again, anybody could contact the number at 333-6017. You can email us at schoolofrugby16@gmail.com, and you can find us on social media, School of Rugby. On all the social media pages, you would find all the information about the camps, clinics, and anything that we have coming up.
Yeah. Right. Maria, any closing comments, remarks you'd like to share with us?
Well, I know I've been seeing that you brought in rugby balls, so I know that's the #1 thing that you need to have to play.
Yeah.
So are we able to purchase balls from you?
Yes, you are able to purchase balls. We do delivery according to the location.
Is it balls alone? Because let's hear all that you have to for sale.
For now, we just have balls.
Okay.
Yeah. The next 2 months we should have kicking tees and mouth guards.
Okay.
So you just message the page, contact the number, and we could have the ball delivered to you.
You want to share the cost of one of the balls? Or?
The cost of one of the balls is $200. Yeah.
All right.
So going forward, I know you have the camp running every Saturday throughout June, summer camp coming for July and August. What are your goals for, say, number of schools that you want to be entered into in September, and when do schools need to contact you if they want to include your program?
We could adjust the program as best as possible, but ideally we want to do 10-week programs for the terms. So if you contact us during the summer vacation, we could organize a program to be at your school as soon as school open.
Okay, wonderful. And do you have any other messages for Trinidad and Tobago from School of Rugby?
Try something. You never know what you will enjoy. You know, just do it, yeah, and find your inner strength.
Well, we hope that before long we will hear that you are in San Fernando, because I think that rugby in South is definitely suffering, because I said if not for those two teams there will be no rugby in the southern part of the country. So really, and I am sure that you're going to find schools, you know, readily available to come on board for a project like this. I am sure of that. You understand? If not the primary schools, I think some of the secondary schools will want to get involved in that, because you know we had this guy Panto from Naparima College, and there's a sport that Naparima College is a college that I think gets into every type of sports, and I think that's one of the schools that if you all need to target a school in South, more so as how he was a member of that school. So I think that that's one of the schools you all should pay attention to and bring in the sport to San Fernando. Maybe you all can't come in a grab, but I think get involved in one school in South, because we need rugby in South, right? So I'm looking forward to see when the School of Rugby will be in San Fernando.
Okay, soon.
Right. Again, thank you all very much for spending this time with us. We want to wish you all the best. You know, I think it's a great initiative, and I think what makes it so more important is that the age that you all are starting the sport, because far too long we tend to start sports from an old age, which is not right. When you look at foreign countries, you will see footballers, everybody started at a very young age. So congratulations on that, and we hope that corporate Trinidad and Tobago, who might view this program, will come to your assistance, because I'm sure that you all are open for assistance financially.
Yeah.
Right, so thank you all again. Maria, it was a pleasure. And remember, if you miss any part of this program, there's a repeat tomorrow at 1 p.m. Join us next week right here on ICNTT, where we bring you something in sports right here on Scoreboard. Have a blessed week ahead.